I was getting a haircut when the barber asked if I came here alone. I'd been going to Tony's barbershop for 3 years. Same chair every month, same barber named Luis, same $10 buzz cut that took exactly 15 minutes. Luis was this quiet guy in his 50s who usually just asked about work or the weather while he worked, nothing more. But today felt completely different from the moment I walked through the door. The shop was almost empty, just one other customer getting a shave in the corner chair. And Luis seemed nervous in a way I'd never seen before. His hands were shaking slightly as he adjusted the cape around my neck and fumbled with his scissors. "So did you drive here by yourself today?" he asked, starting up the clippers, which was a bizarre question because I always came alone, had been coming alone for 3 years, and he'd never asked before. I told him yeah, just like always, and he nodded but kept glancing toward the front window like he was watching for someone. The other customer getting the shave had his face covered with a steaming hot towel, but I noticed his shoes immediately. Expensive Italian leather dress shoes, probably $500, completely out of place in this working-class neighborhood barbershop where most customers wore sneakers or work boots. Luis kept making forced small talk, his voice tight and unnatural like he was reading lines from a script someone had given him. He asked about my job at the warehouse, my family, whether I lived alone, all questions he'd never asked, despite cutting my hair monthly for years. When I mentioned I lived by myself in the apartment complex on Oak Street, he repeated my exact address back to me to confirm. The guy in the corner chair hadn't moved once in 25 minutes, not a single fidget or position adjustment. Most people move around during hot towel treatments, shift their weight, scratch an itch, something, but he was perfectly motionless like he was pretending to be unconscious while actually listening. Luis finished the sides of my head and moved to the back, but instead of his usual efficient rhythm, he was working incredibly slowly, stretching out what should have been a 15-minute cut into nearly 40 minutes. He kept pausing to clean his clippers unnecessarily, reorganizing his tools multiple times, anything to kill time like he was stalling. That's when I noticed the mirrors. In a barbershop, you can see everything reflected at different angles, and I realized the guy getting the shave was actually watching me through the mirror the entire time. His eyes were wide open under that hot towel, staring directly at my reflection with an intensity that made my stomach drop. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, just a photo of my car in the parking lot with no message attached. I showed Luis the screen and asked if he knew anything about it, but he just shrugged and said sometimes people take pictures of nice cars in the neighborhood, except my car wasn't nice at all. It was a beat-up Honda with dents, rust spots, and a cracked windshield. Nobody would photograph it for any legitimate reason, unless they were documenting my location and vehicle for something else entirely. Luis moved to the front of my hair, working on my bangs, and I could see him clearly in the mirror now. He was sweating profusely despite the air conditioning running full blast, and his eyes kept darting to the wall clock like he was waiting for a specific time. It was 3:20, and he seemed increasingly agitated with each passing minute. The guy in the corner chair suddenly sat up and removed his towel, revealing a face I didn't recognize but somehow felt familiar, like I'd glimpsed him in my peripheral vision around town recently. He paid Luis quickly with cash, $20 for a shave that hadn't actually happened, and left without saying a word. Luis was finishing up my haircut now, but his hands were trembling so badly I was genuinely worried he'd accidentally cut me with the scissors. He kept mumbling under his breath, words I couldn't quite make out, and when I asked him to speak up, he just said he was talking to himself about nothing important. As he removed the cape from around my neck and brushed loose hair off my shoulders, he leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Your brother, Danny, says hello," and that's when I realized I wasn't just getting a haircut.